Day 14 of training camp. Day number 1 of joint practice with the Texans. What is up, Fin fans? We got joint practice number 1 with the Houston Texans. Good to see Laramie Tunsil again. And day number 14. Now, today was an interesting day. Some tidbits here and there. Unfortunately, Christian Wilkins, we got a lot more information about that whole situation. And we'll get into that as soon as we talk to Mike. Well, not talk to. I wish I could talk to Mike McDaniel. But listen here from Mike McDaniel at his presser before practice starts. But before we jump into all that, I do have to shout out today's sponsor. And again, you know these guys. Great organization. And I couldn't be happier to partner with them. And that is Clean the World. Sean Seipler, I talk about them almost multiple times a week about how good they are doing for the world. You might be like, what are you talking about, Doug? This is my first time watching you. Who the flip-flap and the flim-flam is Clean the World? Well, Sean Seipler noticed that in hotels, they leave little slivers of soap. We do it, right? You get that little sliver of soap and you're like, I don't know, throw it away. Sean noticed that he could take that soap, melt it down, clean it up, repurpose it, and make it into new bars of soap. And what he does is he puts these kits together and he helps people in third world countries. He helps people in natural disasters, the homeless, people in need. And he puts these kits together with a toothbrush, some shampoo, soap, toothpaste, and a pair of socks. Also, you see this card in here? On the flip side of it, you can write a nice little note, words of encouragement for these people. Now, Sean's going to start putting kits like this together, and also you'll start being able to put kits like this together. So go check him out, cleantheworld.org. Link is in the description, and show some support for a great organization. Now let's jump into today's practice. We're going to start with Mike McDaniel's presser. Mike McDaniel says Christian Wilkins is such a good player, important person, and he has made it clear his play is deserving of a contract, and Miami agrees. As a result, he's missing team drills. So essentially, Christian Wilkins is not sitting out because if he's under contract with the Miami Dolphins, so if he were to sit out, they could dock him a certain amount of money for every, essentially practice he misses. What he's doing is he's sitting in. He comes out, he does team drills, warm-up drills and stuff, and then when they start doing 1-on-1s, 11-on-11s, 7-on-7s, he sits on the sideline with his helmet on. He thinks he's deserving of a new contract. I think he's deserving of a new contract, and he is sitting in. So he's there, he's supportive, and he was there for OTAs, he was there for minicamp, and he was there at the beginning of training camp, and it got to the point now where he's like, I have shown you, Chris Grier, my good faith. I didn't sit out of OTAs. I didn't sit out of minicamp. I didn't sit out of anything that Seiler or Connor Williams did, and yet you cannot come to an agreement with me. So now I'm here, and he's pulling a Marshawn Lynch. Brain didn't work there. I'm not gonna cut that out. You can see the wheels turning. Where he's there so he doesn't get fined. And it's getting to the point, and I'm going to go off on a little rant here. So if you're like, oh, I don't feel like listening to a Doug rant, you can fast forward a little bit. But it's getting to the point with Chris Grier and me that I'm getting a little frustrated, right? Chris Grier is good at acquiring veterans. He's good at making trades, right? We get Tyreek Hill, we get Bradley Chubb. He does pull off some nice moves. Gets Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips. He gets Javon Holland. Tua, I like Tua. I think Tua has a high ceiling. He makes, but then he tends to let a lot of things go, and he tends to let a lot of people leave, or not come, or not address the needs that the team has. And it's starting to bother me a little bit. And I'll get more into that when we talk more about what happened today, because there's a discussion about the left guard situation, right? You have Christian Wilkins, who deserves a contract extension. He has shown you good faith through all of the monotonous, non-mandatory camps that he's here. and you can't come to some type of understanding. Now, is it that Christian Wilkins thinks his worth is higher than others do? That's a possibility. He might want to get paid Dexter Lawrence type money, but the Dolphins might think he's Ed Oliver worthy. I think he could be in between. I think his run stopping is the best in the NFL, but I think his pass rush is to be desired. You know what I'm saying? But do something, Chris Grier. Do something now, because you did not address the offensive line at all. And I complained about it for months. You did not address the offensive line. You think that the offensive line we have right now is good enough. And that's not going to win you championships. And that's not going to keep your quarterback upright good enough. Right? Plain and simple. You see all these teams going out there getting the best offensive lineman, yada, yada. Chris Grier is like, meh. And then Dalvin Cook. Now, I understand he chose the money. No one was going to pay Dalvin Cook that $8.6 million. I know it's up to, but no one was going to give him that contract, and that's why he went to the Jets of everyone else. He didn't go to the Jets because of Aaron Rodgers and because of the atmosphere they have there and their chances. That's not why. If you honestly think that, you're either a Jet fan or you're delusional, because he chose the money, plain and simple. But Chris Grier is letting these things happen. Chris Grier is letting good linebackers go to other teams. Chris Grier is letting depth at defensive tackle kind of just waver. Chris Grier is letting the offensive line depth and the offensive line kind of just, we'll see how this pans out. It might end up being good. It's been how many years? 2016 was the last time we had a good offensive line. It's been 7 years. And he's just sitting back. I don't know what he's doing. Obviously, I'm not in the front office, but it gets to a point as a fan that you're like, can we do something here? Can we come to some type of move? You lost Jalen Ramsey, and then you start picking up bottom feeders at corner. Our running backs are already getting dinged up, and you're just letting things happen. If he would have came up like 1 or 2 million more, Dalvin Cook would have been a Dolphin. But he decided, no, I'm going to keep Keon Crossan on the team, who they could have saved about $3 million by cutting him, and we'll let him walk. I could restructure Christian Wilkins and get more cap space, but no. I'm noticing that Raheem Mostert's missing time, Jeff Wilson's missing time, Devon Achane's missing time. But now let's just let this happen. I'll let it play out, but right now, it's been since March, and I keep bringing up it's been since March, and I'm getting frustrated because I've been told it's just March. It's just April. You got to be patient, Doug. Let it play out. Let it play out. It's August. And the season starts in what? A month? That's where I'm at. I'm starting to get a little annoyed. I'm not angry yet, but I'm getting a little annoyed. So Mike McDaniel says the Dolphins and Christian Wilkins are in negotiations about a new contract. Let's see how that pans out, because they're cap strapped next year. So we'll see what kind of contract he gets, if he gets one. And if he doesn't get one, I bet you they trade him. I'm being 100% honest with you. And again, I don't want to trade Christian Wilkins, but in my God's honest opinion, I think if they can't come to a contract understanding, I think Christian Wilkins gets fed up with it, because he, like I said, for the fourth time, he showed good faith. I think they trade him. And I think they give Zach Sealer a contract, because it'll be way cheaper. That's honestly what I think will happen. Do I want it to happen? No, but I'm just letting you know. He says we are locked up in a hotel together, so there is nowhere to hide when it comes to team bonding. Talks about Kader Kohu is dealing with a medical issue, according to Mike McDaniel. So Kader Kohu and Cam Smith are both dealing with injuries, not expected to work with the Texans this week. Hopefully they are ready for September. What is the date for the first game? 10th. Mike McDaniel says Cam Smith, Kader Kohu's day-to-day as tolerated, could do a few reps. Jalen Waddle will be held out. They're protecting him from himself. He's saying he's good. So Jalen Waddle could practice and play. Like if we were weeks 15 and we needed him, he'll play. But there's no point. It's training camp. He knows the playbook. He knows what he's doing. Let the man rest. Liam Eichenberg is dealing with a nagging injury. Mike McDaniel says will participate to a degree in joint practice. That's not good. It doesn't bode well for him. I've said that before, but this man is slowly losing a starting position, and he needs to be on that field at all times to try to be somewhat successful to get a backup spot. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel said the value of joint practice is to see how players handle the success and failures of the week. Mike McDaniel says it'll be up to Wilkins when he returns. Added, they've been in constant contact with him. This is the first time Wilkins has actively not participated in something while awaiting a deal. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying to you guys. So we'll see. We'll see how it all pans out. I will say this about today. Apparently it was like top-notch tight security. Like barely any videos. I got like maybe like one or two. I got like nothing. And even our beat writers weren't reporting play-by-plays. I had to follow a Texans beat writer to get some play-by-plays for you guys and to get you guys some information. I don't know if the Texans have a different protocol, which they might, but it was very hush-hush, tight to the chest. So Myles Gaskin, Alec Ingold, and Brandon Jones are not working today during joint practice with the Texans. Dolphins rookie Cam Smith is wearing a red jersey, obviously non-contact, but we know about that. Austin Jackson was decent in one-on-one reps against Will Anderson. I got a video of that. Doing pretty well here. Nice little fight there by Austin Jackson. Good to see the fight in him. Lester Cotton was seen winning multiple one-on-one. He's looking unmovable. The first fight of camp between the two teams, Christian Harris and Dolphins running back Jeff Wilson. Harris slung him around to the sideline, and Wilson took a swing. Both were pulled back by their teammates. And then there was a second fight. A group tackle on the left turned into a big push around, dissolved in a few seconds. So a little chippy here and there. Tyreek Hill catches a long pass from Tua, and then Raekwon Davis sacks rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud. Stroud had a few plays where he was not sure where to go with the ball, holding it on a few that would have resulted in a sack. Well, I don't know why I had a hard time reading that one. Yeah, that's the Dolphin defense. That Dolphin defense is going to really mess with opposing quarterbacks' minds, and I'm very excited to see it. The way they shift and the secondary works, it's going to be real fun. It's going to help the front seven get after the quarterback. Davis Mills throws a pick to AVG. CJ and Tank connect on an intermediate gain. Not sure if it would have been a sack or Stroud just being a playmaker. This is from DJ Bean Ami, who is the Texans beat writer that I had to follow. Skylar Thompson just connected with Braxton Berrios for a 70-yard touchdown. He was going against a third-team defense, but who cares? I'll take that defense. I'll take that touchdown from Skylar. CJ has gone deep a few times, but each time has fell incomplete. Again, this Dolphin defense is about not allowing the deep plays. We'll allow stuff underneath and we'll run, seize it and tackle it, but you're not getting over the top. Christian Harris just intercepted Tua. I have some updates. Tua himself explains what happened with the two interceptions. George Fant is struggling with Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips had a huge day today. The Texans' first-team defense allowed some underneath passes. Some got yacked, some didn't. D-line was effective against the O-line. Harris, obviously, with the interception, like I said just before. Dalton Schultz with the standout catch against the Dolphins' first and second-team defense. He was the only one making plays for CJ. It's their tight end. Dolphins DBs, for the most part, have had success against the Texans wide receiver. Xavier Howard had a pass breakup guarding Noah Brown. Flag was thrown, though. Of course it was. CJ went deep to Nico Collins twice, but fell incomplete. A pass to Robert Wood fell incomplete. And a deep ball to Hutch also fell incomplete. There was a fumble recovery by the Miami Dolphins. Team red zone, the Texans D allowed 2 touchdowns to Tua, then forced an incompletion on Tua in the end zone. On the other side, C.J. Stroud had a highlight play where he was under pressure and threw a touchdown off balance to Dalton Schultz. Dolphins media say he was sacked by Agua. TD in my eyes. A little biased there. I'm going to go with the sack there. Dalton Schultz caught a touchdown. I just said that one. Jalen Phillips, Andrew Van Ginkel were standouts in the first set of 11 on 11s. Phillips was in on the last 2 sacks. AVG had an interception, cutting off a throw that I told you guys about. CJ Stroud threw a touchdown to Tank Dell. The crowd was extremely pleased. Tua threw another touchdown in the end zone. It was tight defense and could have been out of bounds, but the ref said touchdown. That's from the Texans beat writer. DP just had a very nice run for a good gain. River Craycraft made a great red zone touchdown catch in the corner of the end zone on a great ball from Tua against Houston's Tavaria Thomas. Robert Woods diving catch over the middle on a low throw from CJ Stroud. And then Tua-led drive against Texans net completion to Durham Smythe. Tyreek Hill and Eric Izukoma, to get into the red zone before transitioning to next drive. Jeff Wilson with a run up the middle for sizable gain. So the offense is moving and grooving. CJ Stroud had an effective drive on the CJ Stroud had an effective drive on the move the ball period. See, this is why it comes off like I can't read, but literally what? CJ Stroud had an effective drive on the move the ball period. I'm assuming there's a period called move the ball. Got multiple first downs to Robert Wood. Tua had an effective drive on the move the ball period, so I guess that's the name of it. Got multiple first downs to Chosen, Smythe, and Eric Izukoma. Jalen Phillips had an utterly unblockable day. Defense has been shutting things down in similar fashion to their big days at Dolphins camp. Coverage is sound. Quarterbacks have to scan, and by the time he does, it's a rush in his face. Love that, and that's from Travis. Tua threw a pick early. He was dialed in from there on. He had a touchdown throw to Moser, Barrios, Hill, and Craycraft. Tua threw to 31 and 85 were beautiful. Beautiful lob shots to the back pylon. Kind of reminded me of the Sherfield touchdown versus Cleveland. But then, unfortunately, to end practice, supposedly, 2-minute work, Dolphins offense, ball at the 25. Tua goes through progression, finds Smythe wide open. This is from Daniel. Wide open up the seam for 37. Next, Tyreek on a crosser for 16. But 2 plays later, Tua throws a pick 6 to Jalen Petrie, who jumped the route and took it to the crib up the Houston sideline. Dolphins score on 2 plays, 80 yards in the 2-minute period. Tua came off the front side read and immediately got to Durham Smythe running down the sideline on the backside for a gain of 40. Then he found Tyreek over the middle, slid a tackle, and it's gone, but they ruled him down at the 20. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is defensive tackle Christian Wilkins doing 2 field sprints after today's joint practice, which he didn't participate, but watched with his helmet on for the whole 2 hours. And I'll show you what that looks like. The man's running. But that's what I got for you today. So again, the Tua throwing 2 interceptions. I think one of them was a pick 6. I'm going to talk about that. He's going to even talk about that. But overall, the defense was dominant. Jalen Phillips, absolutely dominant. Tua, he did okay today. I'm not going to say it was a bad day, right? He had those 2 interceptions. But from what I'm hearing, the touchdowns, the deep passes, all that stuff, good to see. Offensive line, again, struggled a little bit, but what are we going to do about that? But Teron Armstead said something, and then we're going to listen to Tua's presser. But Teron Armstead said something that just, again, irked me a little bit towards Chris Greer. He says, this is Lester Cotton. Lester is extremely strong, road grade smart. Isaiah is a road grade finisher, tough. Teron Armstead said of his left guard contenders. And I put a GIF from Elf, yes, where Will Ferrell is running through the revolving door, and I said, live look at the Dolphins left guard situation, which is just a revolving door, which they can easily fix if they went out and got Dalton Reisner. But nope, they would prefer to just Let these left guards, hopefully one of them pans out. You always want to hear that. Hopefully you'll pan out. Hopefully. And this is a presser from Tua. Tua says, I didn't understand the magnitude of how big those fires were getting. I have friends that live on Maui. A lot of prayers and thoughts to those families. Tua not only started I don't know what it's called, like a fund or a charity or something to help the people of Maui, but he also donated to hit the halfway point of that fundraiser. So he is, really taking this seriously, which is awesome to see, because the people of Hawaii and especially Maui are going through something really crazy. Because imagine being on an island and there's wildfires. You have nowhere to go. So I saw pictures of people leaving their cars on the highway and jumping into the ocean, and the cars are just charred. It's crazy there. Tua says we're trying to put a lot more stress on guys with motion. We are trying things in order to see who does what best. We need good operation. That's what training camp and practice is about. That's mostly practice is about. There's a big difference between training camp and practice. Practice is getting ready for your next opponent, right? They're going to practice the week before the Chargers. They're going to practice the week before the Patriots. You practice to get ready for the Chargers. Training camp is about installing things. It's about getting comfortable, and it's about seeing where you're good and what you can do. A lot of people are looking into training camp things and overreacting to it. Now, like the touchdowns, those are nice. The interceptions, those aren't. Those need to be worked on. Touchdowns, it's a nice touchdown, underthrown a little bit, da-da-da-da. You can pinpoint it. That's what they are doing. That's what the coaches and the quarterbacks are doing. Beautiful touchdown to it, but if you see, you kind of led the quarterback this way a little bit. You wanted to throw it more this way. Try it tomorrow. Or the interception. You see what you should have thrown? Yes. Try it tomorrow. Try it tomorrow. Christian Harris told Tua he was ready for a no-look attempt on his interception. So that interception from Christian Harris was Tua trying a no-look pass. Trying a no-look pass. Again, training camp is about trying things and seeing what sticks and what doesn't stick, okay? We're not going to try that. We're not going to do this. But people look at these things and go, we suck. Tua sucks. I knew I was right about Tua. Or, this. That's what training camp's about. Tua's like, hey, I'm going to try something here. And Betcha Mike McDaniel was like, see what happens. Don't do that again. Okay, noted. I won't do it again. Tua said he should have gotten rid of the ball on the final play that was intercepted. Again, this is something that Tua really needs to work on, is get rid of the ball. This is when you work on it. So again, as I'm saying, these are things that we shouldn't overreact to. On the flip side, Tua needs to be working on getting rid of the ball. That's something now he should be working on, because he doesn't have to worry about taking the hits. So he should have that internal clock that once he hits 3 seconds, because he's not going to get hit, and the pressure is really there, but it's not there, he should have that internal timer. 1, 2, I got to get rid of the ball. 1, 2, got to get rid of the ball. So either throw it to your check down or throw the ball away. Don't try to make plays because you can in training camp. Work on throwing the ball away. Tua said he wanted to play last week, told Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel's response is, I got you, but no. Tua says the Dolphins' long play calls are a blessing and a curse because they are helpful indicators, but there is also, of course, the play clock to deal with. Tua gives us a long play call and suggests we repeat it. It would be a pre-snap penalty. None of us could do it. And I have a video of that. But before we look at that, Mike White paid for quarterback dinner, according to Tua, which is pretty awesome. I have the video of Tua calling one of the plays. We're going to listen to it. This is one of the plays.
All right, we got north right clamp, south fox, H top, pass 38, top Gumby, XP sweat. Let's go. Anyone? Yeah, sounds like a pre-snap penalty to me. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Just to run this and this, you know?
I will say this. I really do like how the more we're getting Tua and the more Tua's in the NFL, he's getting more comfortable in his own body, in his own skin. He's more comfortable laughing, making jokes, understanding not to take certain things so seriously. Whereas you kind of saw it started to take effect, what was going on with Deshaun Watson, Brian Flores, and all that stuff. Now it seems like he's understanding more. But prime example there, Mike McDaniel calls that in to Tua, and then Tua has to tell that to the offense, and then they have to get up and do their thing. You got 45 seconds. So, but I the one thing I noticed when I heard him say that is I remember the narrative that Tua doesn't study playbooks or Tua doesn't know playbooks and this and that. And the narratives about Tua one by one start to dissipate, right? Tua doesn't know the playbook. That narrative's gone. Tua can't throw deep. That narrative's gone. Check down Tua. That narrative's gone. Tua turned the ball over. That narrative's gone. They're starting to go away the more Tua plays, the more Tua's in the NFL. It's kind of like each year he keeps getting better. Now, again, I've said this and I'll say it again. To me, for him to get that contract extension and for him to not just play on the fifth-year option, he needs to stay healthy and he needs to win a playoff game, right? He needs to win when it matters, December and the playoff game. I think if he does that this year, the man's getting a contract extension, and it will be earned. That's my thoughts. But that's what I got for you guys today in the joint practice. I hope I gave you enough information. Again, it was very tight to the chest today. Not a lot of video. Was there any video? Before we get out of here, let me just double check if they put out barely anything. Here, I'll show you guys a few things. There's two videos that the Miami Dolphins put out. It's this one here. It's just Sean Hand doing his thing. We'll watch it one more time. I wish he was going against Tunsil, but there's that play. And then there's this pass from Tua to Cedric Wilson Jr. That's all that was really released. I really think that their security was probably really tight to the chest. But that's what I got for you guys today. I will see you tomorrow, day 2 of joint practice. And then Friday will be the preview of the Houston Texans game. I'll tell you who I think is going to play, what I'll be looking for, yada, yada. Then Saturday, 4 o'clock is the Houston Texans game. I'll be live at 3:45. I hope Tua plays so we can see that. And then they have practice on Wednesday and Thursday next week. Then they have the Jaguars game. And then that's it. I will be making my depth chart. My roster prediction will be out Monday, the 28th. They have to cut down to 53 on Tuesday. And then they have, 2 weeks, give or take, till they play the Chargers. So they'll probably leave the second week of September and stay there for a week. So season's almost here. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. But like usual, stay classy. Offense out.